Hi everyone, I hope you're well. I'm going to discuss with you now about the significance of statues, monuments, images, street names and places, and so on. You will find the script for this video on the August 2020 edition of Good Alternative. The murder of George Floyd by a racist American policeman caused anger, outrage, and protests. It has triggered events which appear to be unstoppable, especially in the Black and African communities and countries. In addition to this, the onset of coronavirus or COVID-19, which brought about lockdowns worldwide, have caused Black and African people to reflect deeply about the affairs of the world. And many Black and African people have become awake as a result of these incidents. In fact, the awakening has passed the tipping point, and things will never be the same again. In fact, Black and African people not only want changes, they are demanding for drastic changes and complete overhaul of the world system, and they will settle for nothing less. And in my view, quite rightly so. The anger, outrage, and protests due to the murder of George Floyd and the deep reflection during the COVID-19 lockdown have caused the toppling and removal of many statues, monuments, images, street names and places, and so on. We have to ask ourselves why governments erected statues, monuments, images, and so on of people who were murderers, dictators, slave traders, who committed genocide and other horrible crimes against humanity, and in so doing, we are glorifying the lives of these monstrous and evil people. What have we become, I ask? So, the statue of Edward Colston, the slave trader, have been toppled and thrown to the river by protesters in UK. The statue of King Leopold II of Belgium has been quietly removed by the Belgian government. King Leopold II is said to have killed more than 10 million people in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Belgian government is reported to have apologized for this, but in my view, this is too little, too late. Statues of Christopher Columbus have either been damaged, pulled down, or quietly removed by governments in the Americas. Christopher Columbus is said to have discovered the Americas, but history books indicate that Africans were trading with Native Americans, North, Central, and South, long before Christopher Columbus appeared on the scene. So we need to ask ourselves how Christopher Columbus can discover the Americas, which was already there, and trading with Africans. The Western history, which is based on lies and falsehood, should now be corrected. Now, what is the significance of most of these statues, monuments, images, names of streets and places, and so on? Commentators say, and I quote, "Most of these statues, monuments, images, names of streets and places, and so on are symbols of power and authority. Some act as shrines, altars, or temples. These statues, monuments, and so on symbolize superiority over the people and constitute a form of homage and acceptance that the race of the person depicted on the statue are the masters or rulers. For example, the statues of Christopher Columbus, who was a European in the South and Central Americas, will subconsciously tell the locals that Europeans are the masters and rulers over them. If you remove these statues, monuments, and so on, then you will automatically remove the subliminal message of these statues, monuments, and so on. Similarly, you will find that many museums and art galleries in Europe and USA contain the skulls and remains of African anti-colonial liberation fighters and leaders. According to some African commentators, and I quote, "African continent is the way it is now because the spirits of African ancestors and leaders are restless, as they have not been given the proper honor, respect, and burial they deserve." Unquote. For example, there is a report that France has recently returned 24 skulls of Algerian anti-colonial liberation fighters back to Algeria. Now, an African commentator said, and I quote, "If we return all the remains of African anti-colonial fighters and leaders back to Africa for proper burial, including African arts, crafts, and so on, held in European museums and art galleries, then you will see a quick change in the balance of power from Europe back to Africa. The remains of Africans and arts and crafts in European and USA museums and art galleries represents trapped African power held in Europe and USA. These must be handed back to African countries." Unquote. Similarly, foreign street names and places in Africa also signify superiority over African people and countries. For example, why is the highest waterfall in Africa between Zimbabwe and Zambia called Victoria Waterfall? Why is the prosperous area in Lagos, Nigeria, where most foreigners reside, named Victoria Island? Why are so many streets in Africa named after Europeans instead of Africans? Now, there is a recent report that Uganda have appointed a minister to look into the names of streets and places in Uganda and rename the streets and places which have foreign names. An African commentator said, and I quote, "This is long overdue and hopefully other African countries will do the same." Unquote. Okay, my people, that's it for this video. What do you think about the issue regarding statues, monuments, images, African skulls and remains, arts, crafts, and so on in the Western museums and art galleries? Do leave a comment. I want to thank all our members, especially those who send articles and contribute to debates and discussions. If you like this video, then subscribe, like, share, and leave a comment. Do request for your free copy of our monthly magazine, Good Alternative, if you haven't already done so. Okay, as always, look after yourself and stay safe. I will speak to you again soon, and bye for now.